Today on Carolina Week, police are looking for 2 individuals in connection to vandalism on campus, with damages totaling up to $2,500. And how senior citizens are now using VR goggles. Stay tuned to find out how it can help them battle dementia.
Here's where we deep fry it.
And how a drive-in restaurant is attracting tourists from all over the country.
From the UNC Hussman School of Journalism and Media, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Good morning and welcome to Carolina Week. I'm Samantha Hoffman.
And I'm Chris Williams.
We begin today with some breaking news. A shooting on campus at North Carolina Central University. An investigation is now underway. Our Isha Putanik is at NC Central now with the latest. Isha, what do we know at this point?
Well, it happened right behind me, and I'm going to step out of the way so you can see. But we talked to some students who said the university hasn't told them exactly what happened, although they do believe that someone was shot. Police are still investigating the scene. They have not yet revealed a motive or persons of interest, so some big questions still up in the air. We're going to take you to some video that was filmed last night. Here is what we do know. Police say they got a report around 10:15 of gunshots being fired at Lawson Street residence complex. EMS had to take one person to the hospital, and the severity of their condition is still yet to be known. Now, the street that I am standing on right now is Lawson Street. From Fayetteville Street over there all the way down to Lincoln Street, it was all on lockdown for 2 hours. And although it has been lifted now, they still say they have not found any suspects in custody. Samantha?
Thank you, Isha, for keeping us updated. UNC police are looking for 2 suspects accused of causing over $2,500 of damage to the old well. The 2 suspects are accused of pushing the well's fountain over early Sunday morning. According to the police report, the university said that the well has since been put back in place, but the water will stay off until the pipes are repaired. UNC police posted a picture of the individuals who allegedly vandalized the well and asked anyone with more information to call their investigator.
Plan ahead. That's what Orange County's clerk of court is advising as local courts prepare to move files online. The updates are part of North Carolina's new e-court system. The program launches in 10 counties, including Orange, on April 29th. Orange County Clerk Mark Kleinschmidt says people should know that most online services, including credit card payments, will be down during the transition at the end of April.
So I hope folks will, again, have some patience. It's the last 2 weeks of April. Maybe if you don't have to have court business, maybe you don't want to do it. That 2 weeks.
Kleinschmidt said he wishes staff could have more time, but for now, he's hoping improvements from earlier rollouts in larger counties like Wake and Mecklenburg will help avoid glitches with warrants and bond information. UNC's search for a new chancellor is in full force. Our Noel Harris was at a public forum where the Carolina community shared their thoughts on the process and joins us from the School of Government. Noel, that meeting just wrapped up.
That's right, Chris. The meeting just ended about an hour ago, and I'll step to the back so you can see, but the area here is pretty clear because everybody has pretty much left. But let me tell you about what happened in the meeting. The UNC Search Advisory Committee met with UNC staff to hear about what they would like to see in the next chancellor. The meeting was the 3rd meeting of the week, and the other two featured graduate and undergraduate students.
Because they're going to hit the ground running, they're going to develop a leadership profile. They should not do that without journalists.
The Chancellor Search Committee hosted its initial listening groups with students and staff. This week, meetings set up to give the Carolina community a chance to share what characteristics they'd like to see in the next chancellor. UNC junior Julian Taylor attended 2 listening groups. He said he was concerned with the small number of Search Advisory Committee members present. 2 were present in the first meeting and 1 was present in the second. There are 13 total members.
The student turnout was good. I think it was 30 to 40 students, but only 2 of the Search Advisory Committee people were there. Today was only one.
Toby Pozell is another undergraduate student who attended. He does not think the Carolina community will have much influence on the selection of the next chancellor.
I think that decision has already been made by the very powerful figures on the Board of Trustees and the Board of Governors.
He is worried about potential politics in the search process. Pozell said he wants the next chancellor to be nonpartisan.
I don't want anyone with political, personal, or financial connections.
Other students mentioned they want a chancellor who listens and responds to students, as well as a chancellor who provides more housing options for graduate students on campus. The search advisory committee said that there will be more opportunities for other people to be able to say what they would like to see in the chancellor in the fall. I spoke to a couple of staff members about what they would like to see in the chancellor, and they said they would like a chancellor who was trusting and transparent. In Chapel Hill, I'm Noelle Harris. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Noelle. Carolina Week will continue bringing you updates on the chancellor search process.
The Chapel Hill Fire Department plans to welcome 2 new trucks to its fleet. These Carolina Blue trucks will allow the fire department to have 6 engines in 2 ladder trucks in 2024. They're expected to have better lighting systems and ergonomic design. Deputy Chief Stacy Graves says that the 2023 vehicles cost $700 each. They plan to celebrate the newcomers with a symbolic push-in ceremony at 2 stations.
Have an opportunity for the public to come look at the trucks, and then at approximately 9:45 we're going to have a push-in ceremony where we will symbolically push the trucks into the bay where they will be housed and where they'll be running calls from.
The push-in ceremony is next Saturday, April 13th at 9 a.m.
Durham County may become the largest district in North Carolina to provide universal free lunches. Durham can apply for the Community Eligibility Provision, a federal program that reimburses districts providing free meals. 28 Durham public schools already participate in the program. The new program would save the district $1.6 million a year. At Thursday's meeting, the DPS Board of Education signaled their intention to continue discussions surrounding district-wide free lunch and to gather data to apply for the program by June. Senior citizens using VR headsets might be a sight you never thought you'd see.
Our Isha Patanik talked to UNC students who are helping the older generation figure out new technologies.
Although it's a bit confusing, Yvonne Coley says a new digital literacy program for senior citizens has made it easier for her to pick up ChatGPT and virtual reality.
No, I like it. This is okay too.
Caregiver Grace Wall says she's been working with dementia patients for 4 months now.
I am responsible for creating activities, leading activities for these participants to get to be engaged in. And some of the activities include physical activity, exercises, cognitive.
These exercises can be enhanced through the use of AI technologies and VR with generated logic puzzles and art therapy. Karyaya, an elderly care provider, started an initiative to improve digital literacy among the older population and to help college students gain experience by running these programs. UNC junior Sam Miracoy is a public health ambassador and says the work they do is important.
And I think the impact that we provide them goes a long way, both for their overall health and for their immediate health.
Karyaya was launched right here in the Triangle a little over 3 years ago, but has already reached 10,000 people all over the country, according to CEO Neil Shah, who says the technology is a game changer.
Due to the workforce shortages in caregiving, we think there's a lot of opportunity to bring technology to improve care experience, reduce the burden on family caregivers, and improve quality of life of people with dementia.
For dementia patients like Coley and caregivers like Wall, the program is bringing a new way of life for the elderly. From Raleigh, I'm Isha Patanaik with Carolina Week.
Shaw says they are hoping to reach over 1 million people as their company continues to grow. It's great to see students being so involved in helping the older generation with technology.
With talk about data on the rise, the university is expanding its footprint in data science this fall, launching 2 new undergraduate programs. First, a Bachelor of Science degree will have students dive deep into the computational side of data science, tackling challenging problems in algorithm development and machine learning. This Bachelor of Science program is designed to be rigorous and requires 60 credit hours to graduate. Second is a Bachelor of Arts degree for students looking to combine their passion for data analysis in another field of study, such as geography or political science. It offers a more flexible program structure, requiring only 39 credit hours. It also has no formal application process beyond declaring the major. Coming up, we have a candidate in the race for state superintendent who is facing criticism. We'll explain why.
You know, there's such a deficit.
A shortage in beds in pediatric hospitals, the action being taken to help.
And how viral debaters draw big crowds on campus. This and more coming up on Carolina Week.
What's up? Name's Chet Riley. Been vaping for about 5 years, I think.
What about other people? What do they think about vaping?
Definitely on the same page as me. I mean, everybody does it.
Yeah, it's giving just kind of sleazy, sketchy, creepy. I don't want to be with him.
I think he's just trying to be cool. Like, he's forcing it too much. Like, it just looks sad at that rate.
He seems a little insecure. He seems like he's fronting a little bit, so that's just my perspective.
I see the vape, and personally, I'm just like, as someone who's in healthcare, studying nursing, I'm like, oh, it's just really unhealthy for you and can really cause permanent damage to your lungs.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. It's looking a little sunny out there, which is deceiving for later today.
I know I've heard that some storms are on the way, but they're not here yet.
I see some wind starting, though. I'll have to keep my eye on that. On to politics now. Joining us in the studio is Carolina Week's Sarah Thompson. Sarah, what's the status of North Carolina's Republican chair?
Good morning, guys. Jason Simmons is selected to become the new chairman of the NC Republican Party. Simmons, endorsed by Trump, will replace Michael Whatley, who was elected to be chairman of the Republican National Committee. He worked on former President Donald Trump's 2016 campaign and followed him to the White House as a senior advisor and later a chief of staff. He also worked in former Governor Pat McCrory's office during his term. In other political news, Republican candidate for Superintendent Michelle Morrow facing controversy for comments posted on her social media account in 2019 and 2020 that spread violent rhetoric. In a speech, her opponent, Democrat Mo Green, says Morrow's violent rhetoric should not be allowed into the state's schools through its top leaders. According to CNN, Morrow's comments include the promotion of conspiracy theories and demands for the execution of several Democrats, including President Joe Biden, former President Barack Obama, and Governor Roy Cooper. We reached out to her campaign, but received no response. With these posts getting national attention, it's expected that this race will be a tense matchup in November. Back to you, Samantha.
Thank you, Sarah, for that coverage. A man is in custody this morning after allegedly ramming his SUV into the front entrance of an Atlanta FBI office this week. The suspect, whose name hasn't been released, tried to follow another vehicle into the compound. The barrier forced him to stop, crushing the front of the SUV. The suspect's motives are still unclear, but the FBI has tightened security in recent years due to threats to personnel and an attempted breach in 2022 of another FBI office. The suspect was taken to a hospital to be evaluated. One FBI official says that they are looking at both state and federal charges.
Former President Donald Trump posted a $175 million bond as he appeals the judgment against him in a New York civil fraud case. A state appeals court last month lowered the bond amount by several $100 million. Trump's bond will pause any action that State Attorney General Letitia James could take against Trump's properties in response to the judgment. It'll hold until at least September, when the state appeals court also sets a schedule to hear Trump's appeal of the verdict. North Carolina is finally getting a freestanding children's hospital. When it opens, most children's cases in the state will be sent there. Our Lauren Lovett spoke with doctors and a mother whose son's treatment had to be taken out of state. And a warning, some of this may be hard to watch.
Children's hospitals are seen as a beacon of hope for families that need care. But throughout North Carolina, many of these hospitals are operating at or near capacity almost constantly, which can greatly impact whether a child is able to receive the care they need. 13-year-old Lee Fitch suffered a traumatic brain injury almost 3 years ago.
He had a collapsed lung, broken ribs, broken vertebrae. The socket of his eye was, all the bones here were broken.
Luckily, he was able to get treatment at UNC Children's Hospital, but they couldn't help with everything.
We thought that UNC Children's did it all. I mean, we have like this amazing cancer hospital. We assumed that the Children's Hospital was the same and we could do everything.
The Fitches had to travel out of state for Lee to get rehabilitated.
We're going to walk back to your room and do a couple of balance things in your room, okay?
It was extremely alarming to learn that, there's such a deficit.
Dr. Benny Joyner is the chief of pediatric critical care medicine at UNC Children's. He says overcrowding is cyclical.
Sometimes we'll say, we have 10 beds, we have 20 cases. The math doesn't work out.
He says when this happens, non-emergency cases like elective surgeries have to be pushed back.
Please be aware, it's not up to me to decide which cases should go forward, but please have these conversations the night before instead of the morning of with your families to say, hey, we're really busy right now.
While the number of beds in North Carolina sometimes falls short, UNC Health has announced plans for a new freestanding children's hospital, the first in the state. Dr. Stephanie Duggins-Davis, the chair of the Department of Pediatrics, says this will create hundreds of new beds and a hotel for family to stay close by.
North Carolina is third in terms of how fast our population is growing, and that is a lot of young families. And so because of that, we need to be ready.
Since returning from Atlanta, the Fitches have been collecting money to establish a rehab for the Children's Hospital.
They've already been able to hire more employees, more doctors, more therapists, more coordinators. And with the new Children's Hospital that's going to be built in 8 to 10 years, we hope, if not sooner, the pediatric rehab will be part of that.
Dr. Davis says while the hospital won't be built for another 7 to 8 years, doctors are focusing on how to treat children as close to home as possible. In Chapel Hill, Lauren Lovett reporting.
Thank you, Lauren. Coach Mack and Sally Brown were actually the original donors who helped the Fitches start their program.
2 TikTok famous preachers answered student questions about Christianity for 5 hours on the quad yesterday. Reporter Emma Hall was there for 2 of them to bring us this story.
The solution is a change of heart, not a...
Hundreds of students stopped by to see TikTok famous father and son duo Cliff and Stuart Kneckley preach to students in front of Wilson Library. The 2 travel to college campuses to talk about Christianity.
So we get invited by different student organizations. Acts 2 was the one that graciously invited us here.
The preachers from Connecticut answered question after question after question from noon until 5 p.m.
So it's mainly to provide open discussion, and I think it's healthy to debate. Tolerance is all about how you are doing it. And so how are you loving the person or not? Are you attacking the person or the ideas?
Students who recognized them from their For You pages asked deep questions about faith and life.
A lot of people have seen these guys online. And outside of just being good to just talk about how people feel about stuff, it's a spectacle.
And so I've always kind of wanted to come and ask him some questions in person, not to argue or anything, but just I just want to see, what his thoughts were.
Some students weren't satisfied with the answers to their questions.
I do think they were fair. I don't think they answered all of my questions all the way. I think they definitely misunderstood some of my questions, especially some of the ones I asked at first and kind of went around the answer.
Despite religion sometimes being a tough topic to discuss, some students appreciated the approach taken.
People should do it more like these 2 do it, where they're actively opening and listening and not just trying to destroy the young libs at college campuses.
The crowd took up a whole corner of the quad in front of Wilson, and that was just day 1. From Chapel Hill, I'm Emma Hall, Carolina Week.
Cliff and Stewart Connect Lee will be on campus from noon to 4 p.m. today through Friday. They are also talking in Hamilton Hall at 7:30 tonight at an event hosted by Acts 2 Fellowship. We are in our last full month of school, and many seniors are thinking about their post-graduation plans. A lot of graduates are trying to figure out how to navigate the job search process. UNC Hussman Assistant Director of Career Services, Heather Stevenson, said it is the student's responsibility to take advantage of the resources the school provides. She says this is something students tend to forget while focusing on schoolwork and grades.
So we can help with a myriad of things, everything from resumes and cover letters and applications, really just all the pieces that you need in place when you are applying.
Stevenson said most Hussman students land their first job within the first couple of months after graduation. She also said Career Services is here to help you through your journey and can help make appointments through the link on our website.
Gray skies outside right now. Carolina Week meteorologist Megan Gillard joins us now to tell us how long this dreary weather will last.
Thanks, guys. For our Wednesday class forecast, it's going to be a bit of a drearier day, but a warmer one. We're seeing 73 at noon, warming up to 76 by 3 p.m. and cooling back off to 71 by 6 p.m. This rain is going to be sticking around until about 4 p.m. today, so as you're headed home, you might not see as much rain in the area, but it is still a severe weather risk kind of day, so definitely want to have your weather apps open or the TV turned on as well to listen for those important updates. We could be seeing some damaging wind gusts or potential large hail and isolated tornadoes throughout the day. But as we head into the rest of the week, it's going to be lovelier. Today, it's still 76 as the high, raining, but as we head into Thursday and the rest of the weekend, we're starting to see lower 60s all throughout the rest of the week and sunny as you head into your weekend.
Sports Extra anchor Caroline Routh is joining us now. I am sad to say after losing basketball, it's a light week for the Heels.
Yeah, Samantha. After the baseball team swept the 10th-ranked Wake Forest Demon Deacons this weekend, they took Tuesday off, so no game to recap today. But they have an exciting weekend coming up and earned a few awards this past weekend.
Can't wait to hear about that. We'll have more right after this.
Sorry.
Life's more exciting with a challenge. Why would you want to go for an easy run? Try going for a run while struggling to breathe. Life's more exciting when you fail. Going to class makes school too easy. What if you just didn't go and gave up? Life's more exciting when you're alone. Why would you want to have fun and make new friends? Isolating yourself is sure to increase your happiness and quality of life. Life's more exciting with anxiety. Why would you want to have peace? A little bit of brain fog never hurt anyone. None of this makes sense, does it? Neither does vaping.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Carolina Week. Let's throw it over to Caroline Routh to get the complete midweek update on all things Carolina sports. Caroline?
Thanks, Chris. Like we said earlier, it's a quiet week for the Heels, but let's dive in with one big award winner coming from this weekend. In Winston-Salem, the Tar Heel baseball squad swept ACC foe Wake Forest, largely thanks to the performance of Parks Harbor. The senior infielder put UNC on his back and blasted not one, not two, but 3 home runs in the second game of the series to propel the Heels to the win. This terrific performance not only earned him ACC Player of the Week honors, but also National Player of the Week recognition. The Tar Heels hope Harbor can continue his offensive success this weekend. The Diamond Heels are back in action tomorrow and looking for more ACC success. Tomorrow at 7 p.m., the Tar Heels will face off against the Cavaliers. The Tar Heels are 10-2 in ACC play, while Virginia is 6-6. Coming off the weekend with 6 home runs in the final game against Wake, Carolina will continue to look to some of their top hitters, Gavin Gallagher, Casey Cook, and Alberto Osuna, to rise above Virginia and keep them at the top of the Coastal Division. Softball is going to take on UNC Wilmington tonight at Anderson Field. Carolina is coming off a 2-1 series win against Notre Dame. The Heels will be looking to senior Skylar Brooks for more hits like this in order to bring in some runs. Carolina is 18-5 at home, 24-9 overall. Wilmington is on a 4-game losing streak. Tune into Sports Extra on Friday for a preview of another exciting weekend in Carolina athletics.
Thanks, Caroline. More news coming up next.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Can you see anything different as a pill?
No.
You don't know?
Fentanyl is being mixed into everything now. There's only one thing that will save somebody's life. That is naloxone nasal spray.
Fentanyl, it's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know it's so harmful?
Really just all about the money.
I just didn't realize that one pill could change your whole life.
More kids should know.
Sammy, you're on one.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. Doctors have successfully performed the transplant of a pig's kidney into a human.
First time ever, surgeons say they
transplant a genetically modified kidney from a pig after a 4-hour surgery. It took place in the first hospital to perform a kidney transplant in 1954. Doctors say they believe the new kidney could last years, but more research is still needed on the use of animal organs as transplants for humans.
Time to break out the goggles again. Next Monday, a total solar eclipse will cross North America. The eclipse will move from Mexico through Cleveland all the way to eastern Canada, where the sky will darken as the moon completely blocks the sun from the earth. Although North Carolina is not in the path for the total eclipse, Asheville will see about 85% of the eclipse at its peak. Scientists at NASA say it is important to wear specialized eye protection and to not look directly at the sun.
What would it take to get you to leave a day on the beach just to go stand in line in a hot parking lot? For thousands of beachgoers every week during the summer, the answer is a Big Oak Shrimp Burger. Christian Phillips visits this iconic drive-in located in Salter Path in this week's installment of Covering Carolina.
This parking lot behind me may be quiet now, but come back anytime between Easter and Labor Day, and it's going to be packed with hungry beachgoers. Located just a stone's throw away from the Bogue Sound on one side and the Atlantic Ocean on the other, the Big Oak Drive-In and Barbecue is a Salter Path tradition. And everyone here is after one thing, their world-famous shrimp burger.
Even those here for the first time know there's only one item they have to get.
I got a shrimp burger, a large one, and she got the small one.
And they come from all over to get them.
Yes, sir. Where are you coming from?
I'm down in Florida. I'm down in Palm Coast, Florida.
The Shrimp Burger, Big Oak's combination of lightly battered shrimp on a steamed bun. You can customize what comes on it, but most people agree there's only one way to get it made.
About 80% of the people get them all the way.
That's the right way to do it?
Oh yeah, that's the only way to do it. That's what we're known for.
That's the way I like it. So. I would say that's the only way to do it.
All the way adds ketchup, coleslaw, and tartar sauce. And lots of people are ordering shrimp burgers.
We go through a lot of shrimp. I mean, we're talking sometimes 1,000 pounds a week. Usually during the week, you have about 3,500 people a week just visit the site.
Big Oak is unique as it's a drive-in. No tables or reservations here. You just drive up, park a car, order at the window, and wait to hear your name. And you never know what you might see while you're here.
It's not noise. You hear that often around here?
Oh, you hear that every day, all the time. Yeah, there's a military base right over there at Cherry Point.
Despite the success of Big Oak, it's not lost on owner and manager Jamie Godfrey how lucky he is to be working, doing what he loves.
Means the world, because, finally I got my family working for me, working with me. And it's, it just you know, I've been here so long, you know, it's mine, you know, and it's, you know, I treat it like I treat this is my home, you know, and I try to make all my customers feel the same way. So, come on in, you know, my door's open.
And as long as they're still selling their shrimp burger, customers will continue to flood the parking lot of this tiny drive-in for years to come. Reporting from Salter Path, I'm Christian Phillips.
Thank you for telling us about that, Christian. I'll definitely have to check that place out.
That does it for this week of Carolina Week. Tune in next week.